Yesterday was such an amazing day. So much pomp and circumstance from the very beginning. I mean, I had the iPlayer on here by the desk most of the day, starting with the departure to go in the morning to David Cameron to PMQs, which were pretty much more like stand-up PMQs, because I loved his line about he always starts PMQs by saying, "Mr. Speaker, I began my morning, and this morning I had meetings with ministerial colleagues and others," and he usually says, "and we'll continue to have more later this afternoon." But when he stood there at the dispatch box, he said, "And except for one meeting with Her Majesty the Queen, I have a relatively clear diary."
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone behaved remarkably well, though.
Oh, they did.
Except for the SNP.
Yeah. But then again, I suppose they're making their point, weren't they? And in Scotland, I assume they were the snippets that were shown.
Yeah. I mean, Jeremy was... it's interesting. I'd like your take on this, Ryan, because you watch Jeremy and nothing ever seems to faze him. Have you noticed that? Nothing ever seems to land on him, even
He doesn't like journalists, though. He gets quite aerated about journalists.
But I'm just thinking in terms of Prime Minister questions. Cameron is such a master of the dispatch box, and he just nails him, and then he just goes on to his next question as if nothing happened. That must infuriate the hell out of Cameron, or I'm sure it did.
Cameron does get quite angry with him as well, doesn't he, at times? So you always see him getting red in the face, and Corbyn's just go, "And I've got another question, if you want to answer it." Yeah. I think he just enjoys it, doesn't he?
Annie from Slough writes, and the catcalls immediately start from the Tory backbenchers. But it was a remarkable process to watch, though, this peaceful exchange of power. I mean, everybody was pretty much on their best behavior.
Really?
I mean, the theatricality of the 20th of January at noon, the fact that the oath of office is administered to the new president and the old president is standing right there, that happened simultaneously. But there was a 20-minute vacuum, roughly, from the moment that Cameron tendered his resignation to Queen Elizabeth. And it was just fascinating to watch these cars, whipping around rush hour traffic, going up to the Mall to Buckingham Palace, and then and then coming all the way back to number 10.
I was tweeted a picture of the removal van outside number 10, because of course he has to move. He has to move. He has to get out of there. Yeah. I mean, it's the seat of government, but it's also his home.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Everybody bar Larry the cat, which was apparently quite infamous for about 20-30 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
And the most powerful person in Britain. Yeah.
Well, even during PMQs, he held up a picture of Larry. He said, "I'm quite fond of Larry, and Larry likes me. Here's a picture, but he stays with the house."
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think of all this pomp and circumstance, Ryan? From your perspective, you've not seen very many of these.
No, I suppose not really. It's kind of weird, because, I mean, the last time obviously was Gordon Brown that I kind of saw leaving. Very different circumstances. When Gordon left, nothing really particularly seemed that positive. It was kind of weird. Like, he was trying to paint a positive picture amongst all this gloomy press. But yesterday, there was obviously balance. They did talk about its positives and negatives, but everything, it almost seemed kind of fun and exciting. You know what I mean?
But there are similarities, actually, with the Gordon Brown thing, aren't there? I mean, there'd been no general election. The Prime Minister was effectively handing over to a colleague, as Tony Blair did with Gordon Brown. And of course, you have all this stuff that from the opposition, that there's no mandate, there should be an election and stuff like that. There won't be anyway in a million years. But I mean, that's what they're calling for.
Yeah.